So yesterday, a friend Shane and I headed down to the Toronto Pro Show, which was a fitness expo. There's some bodybuilding going on down there. Got to watch a guy set a Canadian record lifting, I think it was 830-pound deadlift. So that was pretty crazy. There's some CrossFit stuff going on down there. We did miss some of the early categories for the bodybuilding side of things, and we didn't stay later to watch the rest. But it was really interesting seeing the different body types that were walking around the event. So there's different folks there, from celebrity bodybuilders to other people that are competing, and others that are just into fitness and getting bigger. And you could definitely tell that there are, let's say, enhanced folks walking around the showroom floor, and in some cases so big and puffy that it almost didn't even look like muscle. It was just really, really huge. And it was interesting because earlier in the day I was going through and learning more and trying to figure out actually what my genetic potential is. Because I did a few different videos before talking about setting goals, being able to hit and reach those goals, but at the same point you need to set actual attainable goals. What can your genetics actually do and get you as for your body type, for your height? Because I've been thinking about what is my target weight? What is my target weight? What's my targets that I'm trying to do? If I do actually want to do one of these physique competitions, which is still the plan, where could I get my body to? What is it capable of? And so I found some really good information online from some other different YouTubers, from different studies that have gone on, to be able to figure out how what's actually attainable for you. A lot of times from a health perspective, we talk about the BMI to be able to figure out, what your index is on where are you overweight, are you not overweight. It doesn't really work so well if you're trying to gain muscle and have physique from that perspective. So they've actually come up with what's called the fat-free mass index. So this is essentially giving you an index of kind of on an average, on a genetic standpoint, where can you actually hit based off of your height. There are a few other different ways of calculating. This one's kind of the easiest and straightforward one to give you kind of a guideline. So it's an interesting calculation. So it essentially takes your fat-free mass, which is your total body weight minus your fat. So you take your body percentage, your body fat percentage, and subtract it off your total body weight to get your top level, and then you're going to divide it by your height squared. And so everything's converted into kilograms and into meters here to be able to make the calculation. So from a FFMI index, there's different guidelines set along here, and I think I got something in the way. We'll move that. So an average in shape athlete is usually sitting in around a 19 on this index. If you have a great bodybuilding physique, a natural physique, you're likely within this 22 to 23 index. If you can get there, that is a really good attainable goal. Now, an extreme physique is one that's considered at a 24 and above. Now, the studies that they've done and gone through, they have found actual tested natural athletes that are genetically gifted that can get to about 25. But that is needle in a haystack. You have to have all of the right things going on, great genetics, all of the right things in place to be able to make that happen. And the average person is not typically going to get there. But an average person can get within this range, and you're going to look really, really great. You're going to look big. You're going to look defined. And so obviously as your body fat percentage changes a little bit, your calculation is what's going to help your index. So to give you an idea, Arnold scores about a 28 or 29 on this. And the current, I believe Mr. Olympia is around 32 on this scale. So part of the studies that they also did is they showed basically, you know, from an average steroid user, so someone in the gym doing steroids, they're kind of around this 24.5. So it goes to show, you know, when someone's got a really extreme physique like Arnold or the new kind of Olympia competitors, they are definitely enhancing to get themselves there. So when you start off thinking about things physique, and it's one of the tricky parts when you take a look at you know, the magazines that have got the bodybuilders, and you see some of the things there, and they're not attainable unless you're actually planning to do some kind of chemical enhancement to get there. For me, yeah, not in the cards. There's no reason for it for me. I'm just looking to be able to make sure that I'm in shape. I've got goals of trying to get to a certain target physique, just from a personal goal perspective, to see if I can push my body to do it. And so that I'm trying to land somewhere on the range in here for a competition. So the cool part about this, the inner nerd in me, is that I'm able to plug my numbers from my height and weight and target body fat percentages, and I can figure out how far am I able to push myself to be able to get here. What's actually physically possible with my body? Because I had numbers, well, maybe if I was this weight and this body fat percentage, I think that would be a great target. But, you know, I don't even know if my body is able to do that. So, able to plug this in and figure it out. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look, because as you know, I am a numbers guy and I've been tracking all of my numbers. I'm able to plug this into my spreadsheets and take a look at what's actually attainable. Where am I sitting now on this range, and where can I get to? So we're going to pop over to the computer and take a look at that. All right, over at the trusty computer, just as an example, I talked about the BMI, which is your body mass index, which is typically used by doctors and health officials trying to figure out whether you're healthy, overweight, underweight. And so as you can see here, you know, their indexes, they don't take into account different body types. It's really just height and weight oriented. So this is more of like a lean muscle mass calculation for the FFMI. If we take a look now at my numbers that are coming across, we can take a look at where I am now. So my current weight, my height, my current body fat percentage, whatever my scales are telling me, God only knows if it's accurate or not, that sets me at a 21.1, which is a good, a good physique from a natural bodybuilder's standpoint. Above 22 and into the 23, 24 is where you're getting into that kind of really good and kind of extreme if you're heading over 24 or so. So if we take a look at some of the numbers of what's possibly attainable, right? So if I look at a really good score here, would be if I was 160 and 10% body fat. That would get me in the 23.2. That's genetically possible from a standpoint on my frame if my body's capable of doing it. It's not outside of the possibilities. A great is where you're starting to kind of pass over here from into the world of steroids. So you need to be genetically gifted to be able to kind of get into this range. And I honestly don't believe I'm genetically gifted. I don't think this is a possible goal for me. I think the target here of being able to land in to be able to do a physique competition is probably pretty good. So if I can get at 150 at a body weight at 6% body fat, so this is an extreme, right? You're leading up 2-3 months leading up to the competition, you get your body fat down a long ways, right? So you've got to be much heavier than this to be able to lean back down again. And that would get me into a really, really great natural bodybuilding physique to be able to hit stage with. So this is kind of a target goal of where I am trying to get to, and I think this is kind of an attainable possible target for me. So that's what I'm going to work through before. So interestingly enough, this nope column here is when I started doing things for the bodybuilding.com 250K challenge, they have a tool where you can input your actual goals, right? And so when I put in my goals, you put in your current stats, right? So I just went through the wizard again here, and you say, well, what am I wanting my physique? So I want a physique slash fitness model. So this is a physique competitor that would be standing on stage, and what would be from my height and my goals. Now, what they said, well, in order to get this, you're going to have to be 168.4 pounds, because it's got 0.4 here, at 8% body fat. Now, if we actually plug those figures into the FFMI calculator, that's got me at a 25. Now, this is above the average steroid user. So it's really interesting to see that even on websites where you're setting your goals and stuff, they can set really unattainable goals for you to be able to get to. And when we talk about setting goals and getting them, I know I talked in the past about setting one that's a scary goal that you don't know if you'll get to, but setting a goal that is absolutely unattainable is something that's just going to really set you back in any of your training. Hopefully this was helpful for you. For me, it was actually a pretty big eye-opener. I was setting goals, setting the different things I was trying to get to, but realistically, they were just numbers and something that I didn't know even if were attainable. So this is actually something that gives me an interesting guideline to see, okay, well, yeah, some of those things are attainable, some of them aren't. So don't get your expectations set in a certain area if it's stuff that's just not going to happen for you. And that's just from a genetic, physical, scientific level of something that's not going to happen. So you can push yourself to be the maximum potential that you're able to get to, but don't be surprised when you're not exceeding your genetic potential, because that's where drugs have to come in to be able to enhance it. And it's just, don't even get me started on it. But it's something that's been, like I said, an eye opener for me. I'm trying to get my training and everything on schedule for what I'm wanting to do. My shoulder, I did some training yesterday on doing pull exercises. It felt good on the pull until I was doing a little bit too heavy a weight on dumbbell curls, and that I kind of threw it up, and that tweaked my shoulder a little bit again. So dumbbell flies for my shoulders were just out of the question yesterday. So a little bit of a setback on my shoulder. Tendonitis in my forearm is still there a little bit. I'm gonna have to try to find some bicep workouts, probably without any kind of twisting action on it. But it was a good test back on that shoulder. Today will be another interesting test on it. We'll be back in doing deadlifts again today. So it'll have some pressure on that joint, although I just use my arms as meat hooks. Essentially when I'm doing deadlifts, so hopefully it won't be too bad. So head to the gym again today, get a good workout in, again pushing towards those goals, and try to see if we can get there.